Okay, yeah. So we'll start today, and topic will be number theory. So people who love maths will definitely love it, and it's very interesting. Matlab, it's little bit different from the topics we generally learn. Okay, so before even starting the number theory, so we'll just start with very basics. So first of all, the topic comes is what is a prime number. I'm sure you must be knowing what is a prime number, but let's just again go through it. So prime number is just a number where it has more than two factors. But basically, factor is it has more than two numbers which are dividing it. So let's say if a number is 20 and number is 7, so 7 is divided by 2, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. Whereas 7 is divided by only 1 and 7. So if a number is only divided by 1 and itself, then it's a prime number. You must be knowing. 1 is not a prime number because it has only one factor, right? So most of the number theory revolves around prime number. It's very important number for the number theory part. So again, let's start with the question. So the question is, here print prime numbers from 1 to n. Okay. Okay. So can anyone like to tell me the approach? How will you solve if you have to print just prime numbers from 1 to n? Basically, if n is 10, so the output should be 2, 3, 5, 7. Can anyone tell me?
Yes, sir. We can suppose we choose two. We will start from two, and we will remove all factors of two from two to n. Then we will see the next number three. So three is not a factor of two. Three will be included as prime number, and then we will remove all the factors of three till n.
Right.
And
Yeah, perfect. So it's a very basic approach that we should all know at least. So let's write the code for this thing first. So one logic can be that will come to our mind that if we want to check a number, not n, let's say x, whether it's a prime or not, I will run a loop from 2 to n minus 1, and if no number is dividing it, then it's a prime number. So let's say it's for a 7, I'll go from 2 to 6, and if no one is dividing it, then it's a prime number. So let's write a very basic code for it. The input is n. So for I is equal to, let's say if we want to print from 1 to n, so I less than equal to n, I plus plus. Okay. Let's say there is a function which will check for us. So we are sending this I. So we are iterating over all the numbers, and is equal to 1. So let's start. We know as we know here 1 is our prime number. Let's start from 2. Yes. And then we can say is Cout. Yes. Now the important thing is we have to write this function check prime. How we will check a prime number. And let's write a code for it. Very simple.
Hello, Shika.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have a doubt that why we are iterating up to n. We can iterate up to n by 2 or less than that, right?
Yeah, right. We can optimize it later, but let's start from the base, and that's how we should generally do. If you already know here, yes, we can improve it, then we can definitely write. But let's say we don't know, and we are very naive and we don't know anything else. So the basic approach that comes to mind is hello.
Yeah, okay, understand. You will optimize later. You are saying that.
Yeah, we'll go through it.
Okay, fine.
So it's a function x, and now we want to write a code here whether this x is a prime or not. So yes, as someone told, yeah, it's very beautiful approach, but one should know about it. So we are going till 1 to x, 1 lesser than number x, I plus plus. if x is divided by, sorry, what I'm doing, x mod I is equal to 0, means x is getting divided by I. Is there any password for the meeting? I don't think so. Anyway, if x mod I is equal to 0, then yes, it's a prime number, so we are returning. So basically, if x is not divided by I, then it is not a prime number because it has a factor between 2 to x. Is my voice clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Instead of checking, right? Okay, fine. Okay, and if there is no factor, basically if no one is dividing it between from 2 to x, then we will just return 0. Oh, sorry, return 1, return true. Let's say it's a boolean thing. Instead of just return boolean. So yeah, so let's just go through it once again. So what we have done is we are just checking from prime 2 to n, and we are just checking if there is a prime number, we are printing yes. And how we are checking a prime number? Just simply from 2 to x, and if any number is dividing it, then it is not a prime number, else it is a prime number. It's a very basic thing which I think all of us must be knowing. Now let's come to the analyze the time complexity. So let's say there are basically, so we are checking from n numbers. So let's say we want to check for n numbers, and for every n we are running a loop till n. Basically 2 to n minus 1 is order n. So for till n we are again running a loop till n. So it will be n cross n. So basically we are doing it in n square time. And again, as you know, if n is 10 to the power 6, it will be 10 to the power 12, which will return in TLE. We are set. Okay, now let's, okay, even for n is equal to 10 to the power 5, it will again take 10 to the power 10 time and again result in TLE. Now let's analyze something just before moving to some think of optimizing. Let's think how can we optimize. So let's take an example 20. I'm drawing a line. So let's just write one factor. So first factor is 1. Okay. So as we know, if a number is dividing by I, n by I will also be a factor, right? So let's say if 1 is a factor, 20 by 1 is always a factor. So let's write over here 20. Okay. Now 2 divides 20. Similarly, 20 by 2 will always be a factor, so which is 10. Right. Now go till 3, 4, 5. There are 4 divides. So 4 divides, we are getting 5 for free. So basically 4 is a factor. 20 by 4, which is 5, is also a factor. Then if you go again, if you write 10, then you see these are repeating. 10, then you will get over here 2. So one thing we are noticing it that we can only check on the left side if we are able to check till this boundary. Then we can be sure, basically if no one is dividing it over here in this boundary, then we can say here no one will be present over here. Let's take one more example, a better one. Let's take 100. Let's draw a boundary. So for 1 we can say 100 by 1, so which is 100. Now for 2, 50 also divides it. Now for I guess 4, 25, 5, 20. Then for 10, it will be 10. You can write only 1. So we can keep either here or here. So you can see here, I just need to check till here. After that, if I'll go, there is no point because I must be, so basically after this, it will be x by I. So it means here, I have already calculated till I. So I just need to find, basically I need to run the loop till here, not the complete one. Now, what is this line? Basically, how will we find here what is this point basically where we have to run? So if you look closely, this line is still root n, because if you'll go, it will be like this. 1 के लिए there is 100, 2 के लिए it will be 50. Till then it will be root n के लिए it will be root n. Basically n by root n is root n. So you just only need to check till root n. If you are not finding any number till root n which is dividing this x, then for sure there will not exist any number after root n that will divide x. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
We can take just one more last example to get more clear. Let's take any good number, 30. Let's say 30. So theoretically again keeping a boundary, we'll guess 1, 30, 2, 15. So you're getting this right. So 2 basically it is 30 by 2. Okay, now 3, 10, root 30, I guess around 5 point something will be root 30. Okay, now 5 will get 6 over here. So you just need to go till here. Earlier what we were doing is we are just finding repeated things. So we were going till here, but by getting 6 only you can get, by getting only 5 you can also get 6. Similarly for 3 you are also getting this 10 in free, I will say. So you just need to check till root n. So I can write this again, this code, basically this check prime code. In text.
Hello, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, so why we are treating, root n, you are told me root n, how we get root n? I'm not able to understand. Why.
So I'll explain again. So I'll explain my example. So it's 100, right? So whenever you are dividing a number by 2, you are getting 150, right? So the maximum number you can get till this boundary will be root n. It's like here, it's 425. So basically, if I write this x, it is something n by x. So it is x. So let's say this is I. So it will be x by I. The largest I that you can find will be root n, because if you will exceed it more than root n, then this, let's say this complete maths. So let's say this is p and p is greater than root n. So p square will always exist or will be greater than this x. So we just need to go till root x. Are you getting it?
Yeah, got it.
Basically, you will not be, if you can obviously go till farther than root x, but if you go farther than this, then you will be exceeding this. So let's say for 100, if you want to run 12, so it will be 12 into 12 will be 144, which is greater than that. And if you think that we can get 20, which is dividing 100, but for 20 you already got 5. So that's what I'm saying. The highest number that you can get will be root n. So let's write this thing, root n. This you have to figure out how can you do. It's very simple. SQRT is a function that is present in maths. Root n I plus plus, or you can also write it as this condition like I into I less than n. Both are same. This is better. So again same thing. If x mod I is equal to 0, return what you are returning? False, basically. Else running true. So now let's look closely. What's the time? Now let's again analyze the complexity. So total n numbers are there. Inside loop is till root n. So the complexity we have reduced it to n root n. Okay. So now again think about the constraint. So when n was 10 to the power 5, right? Earlier we were getting TLE in n square, but now if you run n root n, so it will be 10 to the power 5 into root of 10 to the power 5. This number is I guess around 20 or maybe lesser. So it will be 20 into 10 to the power 5, which is 2 into 10 to the power 6. You will get an accepted tick and you will be happy. But again, one more thing, 10 to the power 6, it will be n root n. It will be like 10 to the power 6 into root of 10 to the power 6, which is 10 to the power 6 into 10 to the power 3, 10 to the power 9, which will take approx 10 seconds, and you will get TLE. We'll see how can we solve it afterwards, but right now you have optimized it n root n. Now, some of the questions you can basically even you can solve some questions using this only. Let's say I give you a question, print divisors or print sum of divisors of a number. So like for 10, it will be 1 is a factor, the 1 is a divisor, 2 plus 5 plus 10, 15, 17, 18. So answer is 18. So earlier, if we didn't know that thing, what we would have done is, we would have just again iterating from 1 to 10. Every time a number divides 10, we are going to add in our answer. Let's say this group is from 1 to 10. So we'll group a I from 1 to 10, and every time it divides 10, we'll just add the answer. So the complexity would have been n. But now, as we have used something like this, you know here whenever I am dividing something by I, basically if I is a divisor, then n by I also a divisor. So I can do like this: int sum is equal to 0 for I is equal to 0, I less than n, basically root n, I plus plus, if this n mod I, obviously try with 1, is equal to 0, means if I is a divisor, my sum will be sum plus I, also I will get sum plus n by I. So let's run for 50 for now. So first of all, 1 divides 50. So my here sum will be, I will add 1 to my sum, 1. Now I know 1 is a number, so 50 by 1 is also a divisor. So I'll add sum is equal to 51. So basically 1 plus 50. Now sum for 2, sum will get sum plus 2 and also sum plus 50 by 2, which is 25. So that's how I am able to print the divisor sum in root n time. So there is a one catch here, one corner case here. Just I'm not trying to tell you everything because then it will be completely spoon feeding. But let me just.
Sir, can you repeat, sir? Sir, can you repeat the process, please?
Okay. So the question is print the sum of the divisors of a number n. Okay. My voice is clear?
Yes, sir, got it. Question, I got it.
Okay. So what you are saying is, one way of doing it is to get the sum of divisors of n. A divisor is basically a number which divides n. So you will run a loop from I to n. Every time you get a number which divides n by checking the modulo, you will just add it to the sum. Right? This is the basic approach, and which will take you complexity order of n. But now you are smart, as you know, because you have already seen something like that. We don't, every time a number I divides n, you can directly get another divisor which is n by I. So for 100, again I'll draw that line. If 1 is dividing by 100, so you will get 100 free. So 100 is also a divisor. If 2 is dividing 100, you will get 50 free, because 100 by 2 is 50. So if a number is I dividing by 100, then if a number I is dividing 100, then 100 by I will also be a factor. So that we are doing, if n by I is equal to 0, so you will add I to this. Let's for 100, take one example. Let's I is 4. So if 4 divides 100, which is dividing, yes. So I will add 4 to my sum and also 100 by 4 to my sum, basically. So we are dividing 4 as well as 25. Is clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's how I can get my answer in root n time. There are also ways to optimize it further, but let's stick till here. So that's how we can see the power of numbers. Earlier we don't even need to thought here, we just need to go till root n. Okay, so these are the question. I don't remember the exact question, but I used this approach in solving one question. I will find, if I find something, I'll just share it with you. Now let's turn to the most important part of number theory. Just 1 second. Okay. Similarly, instead of sum, you can also get a question like find number of divisors of n. So questions keeps on changing, but logic is same. Instead of adding sum, you will just add 2. Okay. One thing I was telling you is like for 100, you will add, let's say I is equal to 10, because you are going till root n. So you will add 10 twice. Like you will add 10 and 100 by 10 is also 10. So you will add twice. That case you need to handle, and that can be handled very easily. That you have to think on your own. Here, how can I avoid adding twice a number? So if a number is dividing by a perfect square, then you just need to avoid that thing.